Hi, today I'm going to be comparing two locking vibrato systems for electric guitar made by Schaller in Germany. The first is a double locking system invented by Floyd Rose in the late 70s, and it became popular in the 80s by hard rock and metal guitar players. This is a guitar from the 80s by Performance. It's an American West Coast brand, and they made sort of Superstrat guitars like this one, and so the Floyd Rose double locking system locks the string in two places, at the nut and at the bridge, in the bridge saddles. And the idea is that if the string is locked in place, then when there are no points where it can move and get stuck, you know, when you use a vibrato arm. So theoretically it should return to pitch perfectly. So we're going to find out whether that's actually the case. There's another locking vibrato system that Schaller made in the 80s for Fender, and you could get it on Japanese Fender Fat Strats like this one. So this is an E-series Strat made in Japan, and the System One vibrato system has only one place where it locks the strings, just behind the nut here, and the bridge saddles are roller saddles, so that kind of reduces the friction of the string on the bridge, and the strings are held in place just by the tension of the ball end of the string in the slot at the back here. So when there's no tension in the strings, so when it's completely slack, you can imagine that that ball end might move. So there's a potential for the string to be displaced and go out of tune. And also at the nut here, because the strings are locked behind the nut, there's also a potential for the string to get stuck, you know, due to the friction in the nut. So on the face of it, it doesn't look like as good a design as the Floyd Rose system, but is it really any worse? You know, that we're going to find out today, whether this one is equally stable as that one, or whether there's a difference, or whether it's even better, who knows. I've also got a regular Fender Strat with a 2-point synchronized vibrato system and locking tuners. So this, you know, with locking systems like this, you need an Allen key to change the strings, and it's a bit fiddly. Whereas with this, it's much simpler, and I guess it's an interesting question whether this is stable enough, you know, whether you even need something like a complicated system like this, or like one of these. So yeah, I'm gonna test that as well today. Now I've got all three guitars set up to pull up by a minor third on the G string. And so I'm going to do 5 dive bombs on each guitar and 5 pull-ups, and then I'm going to check the tuning of each guitar and see which one has stayed in tune the best. So they're all perfectly in tune right now. So let's start with the Performance. This is a Performance Corsair guitar. So this, as I said, has a German-made Floyd Rose. Okay, that's that one. I think I did that 5 times. I hope I did that 5 times. Alright, so one thing that is immediately apparent is that this guitar, this tremolo system, can't get the strings completely slack So you can't really do a proper dive bomb on this guitar like you can on that guitar. So the Floyd Rose just has a lot more range, at least in the downward direction. But anyway, let's just see. Well, I'll just take it as far as it can go. Okay, now for the regular Strat. So even this tremolo system has more range in the downward direction than that System One, which is interesting. But it also doesn't go completely slack like the Floyd Rose. The Floyd Rose, you can really do a proper dive bomb. But these two Fenders, you can't really. So, all right, now I'm going to tune up the guitar. I'm going to check the tuning on the guitars. Okay, so let's start with the Floyd Rose. I mean, that's pretty impressive considering how much I use that bar and how much, how slack those strings got. You know, it was had much more range than the other two guitars. So it stayed in tune pretty well, I think. I think that's a good result for that Floyd Rose. Okay, now this is the System One. Also not a bad result, to be honest. I was expecting a little bit worse than that. It's also staying in tune reasonably well, a little bit sharp in places, but not by very much. Okay, so now finally this is the regular Strat. Let's see how well this one has stayed in tune. So it's not awful, but it's not quite as good as the other two. I think, yeah, I think the Floyd Rose wins for me, then the System One, and then the regular Strat, which I guess is what you would expect. Well, what did you think of the result? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this. Check me out on Instagram at Rajani Amps. Check me out online at rajaniamps.com. And I hope to see you next time.